Okay, and welcome to part 5 of porting the elemental shields to Sonic 1. In the last part we ported the fire shield object, so in this part we'll be doing the electric shield, which I kept calling the elemental shield in the last part. So, where to begin? A lot of the work is just going to be, well, not really copy-paste, but repeated from the last part. You know, all the techniques used to port the electric shield are the same as porting the fire shield. On one hand, I feel like I should either fast forward through or just skip this, but on the other, well, I haven't done that so far, have I? Might as well show the whole thing. So, I believe we're just converting the object code, graphics, same as last time. I mean, that was a couple of days ago, so... Now the electric shield, like the fire shield, has a second object. When you do the electric shield jump, it creates some sparks. And unlike the little explosion graphic you see when the fire shield gets lost to water, this one has unique graphics. So I'm not totally sure how we're going to work around that, but well, I guess we'll have to see. Okay, so maybe there is some merit to not fast forwarding through this because there is something a bit different. So, electric. Here we go. This is our object code pointer. Aha! Would you look at that? It loads the art for the spark the same way we load the art for the invincibility stars. So I suppose what we did wasn't completely out of left field. Anyway, so it has its own little VRAM buffer. Now, if you remember when we ported the fire shield graphics, we did see the fire shield used a very modest amount of VRAM. So that amount we freed a couple parts ago, we can fit both the electric shield and its sparks in there, no problem. So, yeah, looking good so far. We have the same stuff to convert, priority, get rid of that, convert the mappings, get rid of the reverse gravity stuff, and so on. As you can see, ooh, this one's actually a bit different. If you lose the electric shield to water, the water will flash white. That might be a little weird to port. We'll get to it when we get to it. Oh god, yeah, see, spoilers, this has got to go. That's a Sonic 3 thing. Again, I'll get to it when I get to it. Here's the spark. No, this is just the thing that creates the sparks. Nice little table. Here's the code. What in the heck? Oh, right, okay. Well, anyway. Just double checking that there's nothing unexpected, but no, this is about right. Yeah, and then there's the bubble shield. We'll leave them until last because it's probably the easiest and the most boring. So let's begin. Once again, we're going to be putting it in its own little code file. I know we aren't completely fitting the standard of the disassembly because fire shield is object 7, yet we haven't given it a number. But really, kinda can't be bothered. But, you know, word of advice, if you want your code to be maintainable, it's probably for the best to stick to the standard as much as possible. Because in the future I could come in here thinking, where the heck is the fire shield? Frantically type in 07 looking for object 7, but it's not called 07 fire shield. Okay, well, I think I spelled electric shield correctly. That's not even its name, is it? It's lightning shield. Whatever. To be honest, I hear some weird stuff, like the Japanese version calls it the thunder shield, even though it's not thunder. So whatever, whatever. Do what suits you, I suppose. I mean, yeah, when you're making code and you don't intend to share it, it's your code. If it suits you, it works best. So, we have got some work to do, haven't we? Jeez. Maybe we'll just work from top to bottom. Or maybe we won't. I don't know. Let's just double check. Do the sparks have their own mappings? I mean, they must, right? No, they don't. They share mappings with the electric shield. And they share an art tile? Oh. Okay, that's, interesting. So I suppose that means it's more of a hard-coded offset. Let's take a look. Alright. Okay, well, I can't really calculate that off the top of my head. What is that, 1F? Or just F? I think it's 1F. Well, let's not worry about that too much right now. Geez. Okay, well, keeping in mind that we're using a custom DMAQ, we want to divide that by 2, so we'll do that. Next up, we need to convert this VRAM address. Suppose we'll just look at the fire shield object for that one. Here we go. So, yeah, again, this function just multiplies this by 20, so we'll multiply the Sonic 1 equivalent by 20, but don't forget that this is the sparks, not the shield, and if my math was correct, it's plus 1F. And just use some parentheses to make it do it right. I never do memorize this stuff. PEMDAS, BODMAS, whatever you call it, though. I mean, M, A, so this is for the best. Anyway, yeah, we need a size, we need to include the art somewhere, let's do that. What am I doing? Here we go. Just to be clear, you could put these wherever you want, also that's not needed. Your art doesn't have to be with other art, it's just for neatness. Oh, right, okay. Bit of a goofy file name. It's tricky. You probably have noticed the massive file structure difference between the Sonic 1 and 3 disassemblies. This is something I read about a long time ago. Something like this is a logical cohesion and functional cohesion, or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, the Sonic 3 way is definitely the more advanced, I suppose, more intuitive one, whereas this is the simpler but also somehow more intuitive one. I guess it's subjective. Alright, while we're here, we're going to want the lightning shield. You know, I have a bit of a question. Well, actually, nah. You know, never mind. I was going to say, why aren't the sparks nemesis compressed? But I suppose in theory, if you were a TAS master, you could do the double jump the very frame you get the electric shield, lightning shield, and it would display unloaded graphics. So whatever. While we're here, let's put in the lightning shield art. Might as well make my code consistent. Right. Anyway, back here. So now that's correct, that's correct, that's correct. That's right, even though it's a different name. Now we need mappings, DPL. Oh, right, I suppose we should also include this code in the main file. So where did I include the the freer shield? Not that one, you numpty. Right, here we go. Hopefully that's correct. Now, let's get the files out of the way. Art can be copied until we inevitably recolor it. DPLCs can be copied. In the meantime, let's convert the mappings, because we cannot hope to get even a slightly functional object without proper mappings. I'm pretty sure the game will either just glitch out a lot or crash. Yeah, fun fact, Sonic 3 has the old Sonic 2 shield in here. Unused, not converted to DPLCs, not too sure how functional it is really. Anyway. Ah, okay, so these two seemingly corrupted frames right here are for the sparks. They aren't loaded, because we loaded the lightning shield file. Even if we loaded the spark file, I'm not sure this would actually display properly, because it might intend for it to be... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would intend for it to be appended to the regular lightning shield art. SonMapper doesn't really give you a way to concatenate files like that, so it's not a problem, it just looks silly. You have to know why it looks like that, because it's not a bug, it's just unforeseen whatever. Oh, right, convert to Sonic 1. Will not convert the graphics, but it will convert the mappings. Right. And that's all for now. Right, we need the DPLCs now. Right, and back to the object code. We do need to convert these to the other things. Now, there is one thing I should probably point out. Or should I say I've been doing things a little sloppily. You see, these constants are defined in fireshield.asm. This common function here, even though it's applicable to all elemental shields, is in fireshield.asm. If you want to be safe, you really should maybe split these to their own file, or put them in like sonic.asm being the parent file and all that. But anyway, yeah, we could encounter an error because we declare these equates in here if something references equates before, earlier in the ROM than this file. However, Fireshield is the first one, all the other shields will come after it, so by happenstance, I suppose, this won't produce an error, but this kind of shoddy programming will lead to it. But I ain't in the mood to refactor my code. I just want it to work. Not the best advice to be giving, I suppose, but, well, I ain't here to teach you the fundamentals of programming, just how to hack Sonic. As you can tell from everything we've done so far. There was a lot to learn. You know, you have to know all these little deviations and the various updates the engine got between Sonic 1 and 3. Anyhow, got some art tiles to convert, a macro to omit. Just to reiterate, if you're not sure what the heck I'm doing, why I'm changing this, watch the last part. This has to go. Oh jeez. I'll do this all over again. Some people probably wonder how the heck you even learn the syntax. I mean, this was like my first actual programming language, the first one I learned. The answer to that is, well, I didn't use a guide, I just kind of figured it out. I mean, if you look at code long enough, you realise patterns. I remember when I once followed a guide for porting Knuckles to Sonic 2, but if you follow other guides, like porting Sonic 3's priority system, where it's a word instead of a byte, it will corrupt Knuckles. I realised you could fix it by looking for all these AO thingies and turning the numbers to equates. And it's because when you follow the guide to change priority, you shuffle the SSTs, the numbers no longer match. You know, being thrown in the dark and having to figure things out on your own isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be done. And when it comes to stuff as niche as this, you know, there are far fewer how to read Mega Drive assembly guides than there are how to read C code guides. I suppose while I'm doing this busy work that I've already explained before, I'll go on a bit of a rant. People always moan and whinge that assembly is so difficult. No, I'd argue it's one of the easiest languages to learn because it's just a couple of keywords that follow a pretty universal format. You know, instruction, source, destination. When they're omitted, it can be either a source or a destination. Just be familiar with what these commands mean. The hard bit is learning how you can make a functioning program with these commands, but at that point, you're saying the hard bit of assembly is learning how to program in general. Because you can spend forever learning C and its crazy ass syntax and features like structs and whatnot, but you still need to learn how to think like a programmer, you know, how to create some software with the language, understanding that it's code that iterates back and over and over and over and over and over again. It's a state machine. You have to learn that. Once you've learned that, you can write assembly easily. I mean, come on. First language. And I was what? 15? We are talking 2012. So I just feel like assembly gets a bad rap. Maybe because the most popular assembly language is x86, which, well, it is a really, really ugly assembly language. 68K is pretty nice, you know, it's not Yoda speak, it's not where destination operand is here, source operand is there. Stupid. 68K is pretty nice, even though it lacks long word branches. They fixed it in like the 68K20, but yeah, Mega Drive doesn't use that, so who cares? Alright, let's get rid of that crap. You know, I was expecting that rant to last a bit longer, but no, not much to say about assembly beyond it getting a bad rap, and I think it's just unfair. I guess there are too many, high-level programmers out there that are just in love with absurdly complex features, like classes and whatnot. Even structs aren't really a part of the 68K assembly standard. There are assemblers that provide them as a kind of an extension. You know, AS does it, ASM68K does it. I believe the Sonic 1 disassembly uses it for defining sound driver RAM, or sound engine RAM. I could be wrong, it's been a while. I know I use it for my clone driver. Anyway. That's going to need converting. And I do need that animation script, don't I? Oh, would you look at that? Yeah, here I was talking about how what the hell? Hang on a tick. This is new. One, two, then a command. So it plays 1, 2, and I suppose plays 2 or 1 indefinitely. What is that? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know the lightning shield was changed between Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Anyway, we're just going to copy the Sonic and Knuckles one. But yeah, as I was saying, follow the standards of the disassembly. I'm not in the mood to just, nah. Sonic 2, if I recall, Sonic 2's disassembly embeds the animations in the source code, and it's just how I'm used to seeing it, so. Again, do whatever suits you. Yeah, whatever the heck that is, that's gonna need changing. Honestly, where do I even begin finding what the heck that is? Maybe palette fading related code? That's definitely what that seems to be. Oh, okay. I must be doing something wrong. Maybe this doesn't exist in Sonic 1. Oh, it was right above fade to black. Okay, let's go back to fade. Ah, yeah, it looks like it doesn't exist in Sonic 1. Maybe it's a custom variable entirely. Like that 3F thing. Okay, it could be that, but let's keep... Okay, now it really does look like that. But the code is different. Weird. Alright, let's keep going. That is worrying. It looks like it's completely different between Sonic 1 and 3. Like, it's set to 0, counted down, reset to a high number. Here it's set to a high number, checked at 0, then subtracted. It seems like the meaning of this variable completely changed between Sonic 1 and 3. Which begs the question, is the Sonic 3 usage here valid for Sonic 1? Because I imagine this is meant to prevent the game, or the shield, from making the water flash white while the game is fading out for whatever reason. Even if I can't think of a use case, it's probably best to port it just as a sanity check. But man, that's the number of fades to fade from there. Frames to fade from white. If it's 0, don't fade from white, otherwise subtract to keep fading. So in Sonic 1, it's cleared, has 1 subtracted from it. If it underflows, skip the fade, otherwise reset the value and fade. Right. So this makes it fade like every other frame or every 3 frames, whereas this one will make it fade for a duration? Yeah, I really don't trust that code. Clearly the intent is just to detect when there's fading occurring. Maybe there's a better way. Better way to find that kind of thing out. Because no, I just do not trust this code at all. Oops. Okay, size, start. And this one's just all the way down here for some reason. Meanwhile, in Sonic 3, doesn't seem to be near anything. Index count, geez, I don't know, it just sounds like it's all completely different. Alright, well, I'll be back in a minute, once I figure out what the hell's going on. Okay, I give up, sod it. Alright, we're just going to move on for now. So... well, I guess we'll just hard code it. Yeah, I can't debug a pedantic issue like that forever. Okay, well, this is new from last time. here with the fire shield. Once again, these are just named something different in Sonic 1. I'm sure this one won't be too bad. Alright, here it is. So yeah, water palette and like the one used during fading. These are obviously what we're looking for, so yeah. Ah, okay. So it doesn't delete itself just yet, but if we come here, yeah, this is going to need its code flow modifying. Oh wait, no it isn't. Alright, that should be all we need. Just again, we're deleting the object because we're not replacing it with the insta-shield because there isn't an there isn't an insta-shield. As you can see, even Sonic 3's developers had to resort to this trickery, using a branch to a jump to circumvent the lack of a long-range branch instruction. Okay, well, assuming I haven't missed anything, all that's left to do now is convert this object to Sonic 1's routine system and hook it into Sonic 1's ID system. Once again, we can just copy from Sonic the Fire Shield because it's the same for pretty much every object in Sonic 1. Yeah, there is one little thing that bothers me. Why does it use D1? Really, it could use DO. It's not important, there's no race condition, you just kind of trash a register unnecessarily. Anyway. Now the lightning shield does seem to have more modes than the fire shield. Because it has that delete underwater version function. Okay. One second. Again, just a good way to hunt down these things where it changes either the ID or the routine counter. This modifies the routine counter. How do we get here? Yeah, we always get here from main. Okay. And this will be our third routine function. Okay, now there is still the trouble of converting the spark. Or actually, no, there isn't. This is a completely routineless object. Wow. I don't even know if these exist in Sonic 1. But no, there's no need to convert this because it never changes its code pointer. It will always execute this code. So there's no need for the routine switch case. Weird. Anyway. Oh yeah, would you look at that? It kind of repurposes the routine counter for its own purpose here, so there really is no need to edit it. Look at that. Okay, the spark looks like it's just done its fine. That's doing its job. Alright, now the final thing is to hook it into the game's object ID system. You know, by the time we pop the bubble shield, I think we're going to run out of slots. Now, might be getting a little ahead of myself, but if you come down here, like, oh goodness, an ID is 1 byte, so it goes from 0 to FF. 0 represents no object, so it starts at 1, and it should theoretically go up to FF. I could be wrong, but here you see it goes up to 88 and then just stops. So, actually, no, there's too many edge cases to about. Let me tell you a bit of trivia about the Sonic engine right here. So it's 8-bit, goes up to FF. Notice how it goes above 80, so clearly the 7th bit, or the 8th bit, however you count from 0, isn't reserved, except it is. Now to the object system, the 7th bit of this byte, or the 8th bit, whatever, is unimportant. It doesn't matter, you can use it. However, if you're spawning objects in a level, using a level editor, the high bit actually is reserved. I think it indicates whether the object should be saved or not. Like if you destroy a badnik, it will never come back. But if you don't set the preserve status, whatever it's called, bit, then it will just respawn later. So keep that in mind when you're adding objects. If you're planning on putting them in a level with a level editor, don't put them above 80. If it's something that's spawned through code, like the elemental shields and their little effects, you're free to go above 80. Just keep that in mind. They changed it in Sonic 2, I think, because that game has way more objects. Yeah, it's trivia like this that just makes this kind of stuff difficult, because you'll never see it coming. You'll never think, I wonder why this object doesn't spawn. Why does it spawn a motor bug? Oh, it's because it's the ID of the motor bug if you remove the high bit, and yeah, it's a mess. I mean, after doing this stuff for, I've lost count of how many years, you kind of just figure it out eventually, but at first it's overwhelming. You try and do one thing, and then one of the 20 little gotchas will just ruin it for you. Okay, that looks good enough. So now we need to hook into, replace the code pointer with an ID. That should do just fine. Now, I just need to make the electric shield spawn. So let's take a trip back to the monitor code and make the shield monitor dish out an electric shield instead of a fire shield. So here we are. Just going to quickly change the bit, and we're going to change the object ID, and just like that it should give you an electric shield. While it's doing that, let's get blast them out. Now hopefully it there is an error. Apparently there's no lightning shield.asm. I feel like I may have made a typo. Or is it called electric shield? I wonder. Oh, would you look at that? Okay. Sod it, I'll rename it. Fine. Still nothing. Oh, come on. Whatever, we need to figure out what the heck's going on here anyway. Why will the bit number be truncated? Status? Oh, right, it's got some stupid name, doesn't it? You know, I'm not even going to try. What is it called? Because I know it's something stupid. Ah, yeah, Lutning. I feel sorry for people who speak English as a second language and have to figure this stuff out. Same reason I hate, you know, super shorthand code naming schemes. Because abbreviations are just the worst. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I suppose if we wanted to be really clever, we could have included this object's code in the same part of the ROM Sonic 3 does. But, nah. I mean, we just have to correct some branches, it's nothing too bad. What a div I am. Okay, what did I do wrong this time? Let's take a look at VRAM. Okay, it's definitely loading the wrong... Oh. Yeah, I forgot. I know I divided by 2 for the sparks, but yeah, I didn't do it for that. You didn't see that. I swear I'm good at this game. Come on. Okay, no more speed up. If I recall, Sonic 2 Emerald Hill Act 1 does start with a shield. That was way more convenient. So as you can see, even with the corrupted art, the object did seem to work. It animated, the mappings worked. There we go, so we have a shadow-themed lightning shield. But it does not spawn sparks. I wonder why. I really don't see anything wrong. The object is so tiny, how can you get it wrong? There are no priority issues, that's for sure. Yeah, finds an object. If it can't find one, it bails. Sets the ID, X, Y, mappings, art tile, render flags, priority, width, pixels, animation, velocity. I don't see the issue. Wait a minute. I know what it is, I think. Maybe. The double jump code, remember? Same issue as the fire shield. Alright, here we go. Yeah, it neglects to set the animation. Yet again. While I'm here, I really should do this, because I know in the next part I'm going to forget again, but I suppose it's more fun this way, huh? I mean, this is what software development's like. Just make mistake after mistake, and you have to whittle them down and fix each one. I mean, you wonder why games come out and they're ridiculously buggy. Mistakes happen all the time. Okay, how about I don't die on the way there, huh? Heavens above. Oh, that's obviously corrupted. Oh, okay. So maybe my math was wrong. Is it really meant to be over there? So let's go back to Sonic 3's VRAM layout. Here we go. So you have shield, and then you have shield sparks. I mean, come on, it looks like 1F to me. Alright, let's bust out the calculator. Yeah, I told you it was 1F. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, it recycles the art tile from the shield, that's fine. Then it just loads the data to this destination, which is just that plus 1F, which is the delta. And yet that's not right at all. I mean, there are the sparks right there. That's where the shield graphics start. Yeah, that is definitely not correct. And I'm pretty sure that by converting the mappings to Sonic 1, I didn't break anything. No, it's DPLCs that break in Son Maphead. Good grief, that thing's DPLC generator is garbage. Ah, jeez. Jeez, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Does the original lightning shield not use the regular VRAM address? Anytime today, Notepad, come on. Alright, loads the sparks. Otherwise it uses the shield. Yeah. and that's really annoying. I mean, yeah, staring at code is fun and all, but it doesn't really get me any closer, does it? I mean, it makes sense. Tiles 2 bytes, shield plus the delta. It should work. Set that tile, set the bit, and it, or it, whatever it. Inherit from the parent object. Render flags priority width pixels. Right, well, I guess I'll be back once I've figured this out. Okay, I believe I found the issue and it's really stupid. I blame SunMapHead. Please don't use SunMapHead. Please make a better sprite editing tool. I don't want to use Flex. Alright, so here's the problem. You see this? I've unloaded the DPLCs, you know, unload data. There are no pattern load queues. This exposes the raw mapping data. Because without the DPLCs, it's exposed what the mappings are really doing. It assumes the data for the frame is always at the start of the art file. Notice how there's an exception, however, for these, because they're not loaded by DPLCs. They're manually loaded by DMA at the start of the object. Now, as you can see, it doesn't point to the start, it points here. However, when I loaded the DPLCs and saved the mappings in Sonic 1's format, it like auto-inserted DPLC data that didn't get saved because we didn't save the DPLCs because SunMapHead's DPLCs are way more inefficient and, you know, Sonic 3's work anyway. Yeah, it changed it so these pointed to here. So I can't really show you. You might have seen it in the earlier footage, but yeah, I unloaded the DPLCs, reloaded the original mappings, and now they're here. But previously, you know, after I'd saved them in Sonic 1's format, they were glowing this bit because they were using data at the start. So the entire flipping time, the issue was bad mappings. My code was fine, and I spent a stupid amount of time debugging something that wasn't even my fault. Thank you, SunMapHead. You closed source piece of trash. Anyway. So, let's quickly try that again and see if it works. Okay, and we're back, so let's see. Does it work now? Yep, there we go. Thanks, SunMapHead. So, we have a visually correct lightning shield. Also, who wants to see a Sonic 3 bug? Notice how the electric is spinning around Sonic, and now it's spinning the other way, and now it's spinning the other way, and now it's spinning the other way. It's stupid. The cause of that is, let me just get back to the code. It's permanently always inheriting Sonic's X flip bit. Now it makes sense for the elemental, the fire shield when you're doing the flame dash because it has to point the direction you're facing. But even the fire shield's idle animation doesn't need to mirror itself when Sonic is facing the other way around. It gets even dumber with the bubble shield because the bubble shield has like a highlight, a reflection on it, and that reflection just mirrors depending on where, you know, what direction Sonic's facing. So if you're interested in bug fixes, I can't really think of an elegant way to do this right now, but I guess for the lightning shield you could just do that, you know, and never inherit the flip property. For the fire shield, you'll have to figure something out based on the animation. Just keep that in mind. If you're interested in bug fixes and goofy design choices, yeah, the weird mirroring is something I think Sonic 3 Complete fixed, and you might want to fix it too. Anyway, I believe there's only one thing left to do. Like last time, we need to convert the art so it isn't, well, a big fan of shadow, and convert it to the proper colours. Now there is one problem. The fire shield used colours that were common to Sonic 1 and 3. However, look closely. You have a shade of white, and it's a uniform shade of white. Then you have these shades of grey, except they're not grey, they're actually blue. They all bias towards the blue channel. But if we swap to Sonic 1, alright, we have white, again, just white, but then we have proper greys. And I think you'll notice the greys in Sonic 1 tend to be darker than the greys in Sonic 3. So we switch back to Sonic 3, they're much brighter. So, we can still convert to Sonic 1. There are just as many greys and whites and a black colour that isn't actually black in Sonic 3. Not that the graphics use them, never mind. But the problem is, if we convert to Sonic 1, we're faced with a problem. Either we use the same shades of grey, which will make the sprite overall darker, or we use fewer shades of grey and lose detail. Unfortunately, the choice is already made for me, because I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this by hand. There are tools. I think there's HivePal, which is really good, but closed source and Windows only, probably. But we're going to just rely on SonMapEd's automatic sprite import feature. It will try and find the closest match to every colour. So it may see this, realise there is no equivalent grey, and it will just make it white. So the sprite will appear more white than this. It'll lose some of the shading. If that's not your style, then sorry, you're going to have to figure this out on your own. So once again, I'm going to change the background colour to hot pink, and we're going to create a big ugly amalgamation of sprite tiles. We're also going to have to convert the spark graphic, because that isn't in this file. We'll have to do that separately. Right, there we go. So once again, save to image. Switch to Sonic 1. Unload the palette. Reapply the hot pink. The reason we do it is so the game doesn't get confused and think the black is the actual black. Because if you recall in the last part, I said the first colour is actually just transparency. If you want to show something that's black, you have to use an actual colour slot, not this thing. But by default, they're just set to black. So for proper importing, we use a colour that isn't present. So, load from image, thing 2, and yeah, there you go. Actually, I'm curious, what does it do here? Direct nearest match, normalized match. Let's see what this other import option looks like. Does it look better? Okay, no, it looks much worse. Alright, so this will just have to do. And now we do it again with the spark graphic. Thankfully this one is mercifully smaller. Okay. And with that, we should be good to go. Alright, we're here in 3, 2, 1. Yep. Yep, looks correct. That's the lightning shield. You know, I still need to go back and make sure in Sonic 3 the rings are magnetized like this. Because I'm still not convinced. It could be too short range, it could be too long range. I really did not play a lot of Sonic 3 back in the day. Back in the day, I wasn't even around when those games came out, but you know what I mean. So, I think that's it for this video. Next up we'll be doing the bubble shield, hopefully much more boring. Then after that we can move on to importing the sounds. Maybe fixing some bugs, I've got a list going of those things. So yeah, see you then.